This video was originally going to be a review of the Rebel 2 by Evo Aviation. However, while I was making this video, something changed. We'll get to that at the end. Let me bring you up to speed. Presently, I fly a titanium frame made by a company called Airfur, and for me, titanium just isn't the right material. You see, it sounds good on paper, but there's just not enough mass on a paramotor frame to justify the cost to the weight savings. And in transport, I've broken this frame 3 times, not by flying it, but merely by shipping it. Well, it broke for the last time, and I decided that I needed to be in the market and get a new paramotor. So I started flying quite a few different paramotors. I flew another one by Airfur. Although I didn't like the titanium, I definitely liked the way the frame was made. I flew Gravity, I flew a Mac Fly, a Power to Fly, Utah Scout, Parajet. I flew quite a few. Until I went to Endless Foot Drag and I met up with a company called Paraswag USA, and they had the Rebel 2 by Evo Aviation. I asked if I could fly it, and they told me they would bring it down to Texas Wingnuts and I could fly it there. And I did, and I liked the frame, and they asked me to do a review on the frame. And that's what this video was originally intended to be. But like I said, something changed while I was making this video. We'll get to that at the end. In the meantime, here's my first impressions.
Walking with this unit is much easier. And in fact, I've noticed I can stand upright a little bit better. And it's because the weight is predominantly on the middle of my back and not below my butt or down by my knees. Getting up into the air now, so getting a feel for the harness. Okay, you have a bit more weight shift authority. That's kind of nice. So one thing you'll notice right away is that you have more room in your seat. So I'm not used to that much room in the seat. As a result, what happens is it feels more stable when I'm centered in the seat, and I also have more weight shift authority because I can move my body farther over. But one thing I am noticing is that your arms are going to hit the swing arms. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what I initially think here. So immediately you will notice that you have a bit more room in the seat. And that does a few things. It gives you a little bit more weight shift authority, which I've noticed right away. The second thing it does is as you are going in a straight line, you're going to swing a little bit more. It's kind of like when you're kiting a wing and you hold the risers out farther. If you're not using a harness, you can feel the wing a little bit more than you would if the risers were closer. It feels more stable at the same time. So I know those kind of sound counterintuitive, but ultimately I feel more stable even though I have more room to shift, and I feel the wing a bit more, or I rock a little bit more. But because they're out, it feels like a platform is wider, so I feel a bit more stable in the chair or in the harness than I normally would. Another thing that I have to mention, because the more that I feel it, gosh, the better I like it. The back is so sturdy and so solid. You feel the back even up into your shoulders. There's no gaps. It's like sitting in a car. The the back feels sturdy. So often in paramotors, you can kind of feel the engine mounting or the backside of a paramotor. And this one I can't. It just feels like a solid board back there. I know it's not. I know it's the tank, but because of the shape, and it even wraps around to my shoulders, I feel the thrust of the engine very evenly on my back. I have to say, the tank in and of itself, I'm really impressed. I really think this tank is awesome and placed in just the right place. And yeah, like I said earlier, you definitely feel like you can feel the wings swing a little bit more, but oddly you feel more stable with it as well because of the swing arms being out so far. Now, beside the swing arms hitting me in the arm, I really can't find a whole lot of negatives in this paramotor. I know weight would be for some. However, I would argue longevity and durability easily outweigh the weight issue. Yeah, I will say the frame is absolutely solid. You can feel how solid it is. It's well built, it definitely is. I like the way that they put the pins together as well. It's easy to disassemble. Not the easiest to disassemble, but it is disassemblable, if that's a word. Typically, Americans tend to disassemble their paramotors a lot less than those people overseas, and that's because we have a habit of buying bigger cars, bigger trucks, or we use trailers. However, they have decided to make this so you can take it apart very easily, and that is the use of springed cotter pins. Now, not only do Americans pull their paramotors apart less than those overseas, but Americans typically weigh more as well. Thank you, McDonald's. And so the wider seat may appeal to those people that are, let's just say, a little wider in berth or in girth. I guess the real question is would I recommend this frame? And the answer is yes, I would, to the right person. First, I would absolutely recommend it to a beginner. To beginner or intermediate, I would say hands down, yes, I would recommend this, no problem. To somebody who's more advanced and more acro, I think there's better frames out there for that kind of a thing. I don't think this was designed for that. In fact, I know it wasn't. So I would have to say that the market that this frame fits is the beginner to intermediate. Those people that want a sturdy frame and don't like the idea of all the weight of your gasoline being so far below your butt, that's definitely me. I really, really like the fact that they've moved the weight where it should be, which is to the middle of your back and in your shoulders. Additionally, the price point is absolutely one of the best I've seen, if not the best I've seen so far. So this gets me excited about this sport, because ultimately getting prices down will bring more people into the sport. Yeah, gotta like that weight shift. Gotta like that weight shift. It's so easy and smooth. Just moving the hips back and forth. Yeah, and you barely have to use any brake in order to get a nice wide turn. Boy, that's beautiful. I'm liking having the extra space. I didn't think I would, actually. So there's two positives I'm going to come away with here. The first is going to be the tank. The tank not only takes away vibration, it provides stability and brings the weight up on the back where it needs to be. The second is going to be the width of the frame itself. Those two things together really provide a solid platform for your harness to sit in, and you feel that as you're flying. All in all, I'm quite impressed with this frame. I really think they did a good job designing it, and there's a few things that need to be tweaked here and there. The swing arms, and I'm glad to see that they have addressed that issue. It tells me that the manufacturer actually cares about their product, so that's a good thing. Is it a perfect frame? No, I don't think it's perfect, but it's getting close. Taking care of the tank is huge. Huge. Bringing that weight up is definitely a good idea. So because I do reviews, I've been asked to review some products. One of these products is a fuel gauge. On a paramotor, you don't have a fuel gauge. You have a mirror that you take out of your pocket and you look back at your tank to see how much gas you have. Well, I can't really talk to you while I'm looking at the fuel gauge because as I turn my head to the right, there's a bunch of prop noise. And this is a right-hand throttle. But let me explain what I'm about to show you, and then I'll turn my head so you can see. If I push and hold a button on this throttle, there's a fuel gauge that is strapped to it that'll tell me how much fuel I have in a series of colors. Red being I'm empty, red flashing being I'm extremely empty, yellow, green, and blue. Now, this is a prototype, so I don't think they finalized it entirely, but watch what happens when I press and hold. It shines blue, letting me know that I have plenty of fuel in my tank. Now I can adjust the sensors to say what I want to show as full, medium, or empty. It's a cool product. It's not yet available. When it becomes available, I'll let you know. I'll also let you know where you can get it. Now, from what I understand, they're actually changing it, so instead of flashing, it immediately gives you the code. So it'll immediately tell you blue, red, or green, or flashing red, or whatever. Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to land as well, because immediately that weight is on the center of your back rather than underneath you. I'm definitely liking this frame.
As much as I liked the frame, before I purchased it, I wanted to test it out with a Moster 185, which is the typical engine that I fly. When I contacted Paraswag USA about the demo unit and swapping it out, I also found out they were looking for some capital investment and business acumen on being able to lock down distribution rights on several of the products they carry. What started out as trying to purchase a paramotor was quickly turning into a business opportunity that intrigued me. With that being said, I decided to fly the unit one more time.
Come on up. Oh! All right, so trying out the same frame. This time I'm trying it with the 185 engine, which is the larger of the two most popular engines from Vitarazi. The last time I tried it with that Atom 80, which was, it's a good engine, it's just a little bit too small for me, I think. I prefer the 185. I prefer that power that you kind of don't get with the Atom 80. The drawback is, though, that this engine uses a lot more gas than the Atom 80. So, but for my weight range and the type of flying I do, the 185 is definitely the better engine. So I wanted to give a real review once I had this engine on it, and so much better. Additionally, I also put on the APCO seat harness, which is my typical seat harness. I actually took the seat harness off of my paramotor and put it on this, just so I could get a true feel, because the last time I tried that frame with the Atom 80, I had a dudek harness on it. It's a more popular harness, but I prefer the APCO, and it's really, one is not better than the other, it's just kind of personal preference. So I'm also trying to figure out if my hang points are right. They feel right. My shoulder straps are a bit too tight, though. I didn't adjust the harness right, but outside of that, feels good. I actually, now sitting on it with my harness, the width seems correct to me now. With that dudek harness, it seems a bit wide, but now it seems okay. I hit my arms on the swing arms. I'm not hitting my arms on the swing arms like I was when I was flying that dudek harness. So it was so much easier to launch this than any other frame that I've used. And that is because of where the weight is. Because that gas is so far high up on your shoulders, you don't feel it between your legs. You don't feel it between your knees when you're running. So much easier to run. I can't even tell you. The design is awesome. So I have looked at a company called Gravity as well. They make a paramotor that has an integrated tank. If you're going to put a tank that's kind of integrated into the back, you should at least keep the gas higher, kind of like this company did, whereas with them, they put the gas tank so it goes all the way to the ground. So it's actually worse than a standard gas tank if you have like a half a tank of gas, which is most of the time when you're flying with a half a tank of gas or less. You know, it's only the long flights where you'll go more. So if you have that much gas, like a half a tank, it's all the way to the very bottom of your foot, right? So it's not just the running that's kind of important. It's also the weight shift, right? So where is that weight when you want to do a weight shift? If it's really low, then the problem is that you have to work harder. So if it's up high like this one, see right now the majority of my weight is right in the thoracic portion of my spine. So it's the weight authority that I have to shift my weight is amazing, because it's all like where the core of my body is and the core of my weight is. It's not down by my feet like every other paramotor. And I wish Gravity would have not put the tank so it goes so low, because it actually defeats the entire purpose there. Looks like these guys got quite the flood going. All right, I'm going to play chicken with the tractor. Yeah, if we collide, I guarantee he's going to win. Going to be a lot of excited families here with all these houses going in, getting a new house and everything. That's kind of cool. That's what I forgot to do. I got to take a Instagram picture. Got some socks from my biggest fan. Got to show those off. There we go. Do a couple pictures here. Okay, that should work for the Instagram. Been a while since I've done one of those, but got some socks from my biggest fan, so definitely have to show those off. Had some fun. Definitely like the frame. Looks like there's a purchase in my future on this thing. I think these guys are doing something right that nobody else is, so yeah, definitely easier to land too. Ugh. Turned around too late.
As I was coming in for a landing, I noticed something out of the corner of my left eye. And I hadn't even been on the ground for 30 seconds when I saw this.
Oh, perfect timing. Wow, if I would have ran into those, that would have sucked. Yeah, I am definitely glad I got out of the sky when I did.
What I saw, flying low, coming directly overhead, were 4 Blackhawk helicopters, all bearing the Red Cross insignia.
Maybe that's Mark Honeycutt. I don't know. Could be. Could be. Boy, that was definitely fortunate to get out when I did. That was definitely fortunate to get out of the sky when I did. Well, if that was Honeycutt, I'm sure he would have avoided me.
Well, as promised, I do have some exciting news. I went ahead and invested in Paraswag USA. I didn't just inject capital, I also brought in my team, and that allows us to do a couple things. It allows us to get exclusivity to several products, including the Rebel 2. And it also allows us to streamline operations of Paraswag USA, which means better customer service, faster delivery times, and ultimately lower prices. I would like to continue to do reviews on this channel, but in all transparency, I need to let you know that I now have a financial interest in this product, so take the review as just my opinion. If you would like to get a hold of one of these paramotors and like to try it out yourself, I'll leave the link in the description below and one of my team members will get a hold of you and let you fly it and tell me what you think about it. In the meantime, thanks for watching this video. Please click subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and it means a lot to me if you'd click that like button if you like the video as well. Leave a comment. I do try to go through all of those and respond. And until the next video, thanks for watching. If you would like to see more paramotor videos, please visit PPG Zone. There, you'll not only find videos about paramotoring from many YouTube authors, but they also have a lot of information on paramotor resources, events, and the paramotoring community. Also, before I forget, the electronic fuel gauge I was reviewing in this video is now available, and a link for information is in the description. Thanks again for watching.